It's definitely something I enjoy, but it has been a chore. And when it was a chore is when I realized I need to change something.
Yeah.
But when I first started really growing, it was...
Brianca Thornton is a small business owner in the United States. Brianca, welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
I am doing very well, and wow, the time difference between you and me is just so huge. It is my Friday morning at 9 o'clock, and I know it's your time at 6.
It's 5 right now in the evening
5.
on
There
Thursday.
There you go. Wow, it's amazing. All right, Brianca, now, how was your day yesterday?
Oh, gosh. What did I do yesterday? Do you remember what you do the day before ever?
Well, it's funny because sometimes the days sort of seem to revolve around each other, or they become the same. And sometimes I'm like, is it Monday? Is it Tuesday? I have no idea. And I sometimes do have to check my phone for the date.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm like, what did I do yesterday? Let's see. I posted a tutorial video.
Yeah.
I had a meeting with, it was like a short interview with another woman who was working on a paper for her university.
Ooh.
And then I had a doctor's appointment that I completely forgot about.
That's okay. I don't know about you, but
I made it. I made it there. But.
Oh, good. I really do like it how doctors and other businesses now have this thing on like an app where they send you like a message, say the day before.
I only knew because I got a text message the day before.
Yeah. So it's okay.
Thank goodness they do that.
Yeah. I know everyone's so busy these days, so you either do that or you just miss the appointment. Oh, lovely. Well, I'm so excited for this conversation because I have been following you on Instagram, and I think the reason why I saw you is, of course, IG sent me one of your viral videos, and that was how I found you. I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So when you said yes to the interview, I was like jumping up and down, like, oh my goodness. So thank you so much. I can't wait to dive into this. So the next thing I want to ask you is this. So Brianca, I have a thing, I like to ask the small business owners that I interview something that I call a backstory snapshots, okay? So basically backstory snapshots, I sort of think of them as moments or events from either your early years growing up or from even a few years back. Now, when you look at those moments and events, you think, oh, wow, they've shaped me to be doing what I'm doing today. So what would you say are your backstory snapshots?
I worked in restaurants for 10 years before I started this business. And I was still working in a restaurant during the time I started it. But while doing that, I ended up in a lot of management positions in restaurants. And I realized I put so much of my time into it, like so much overtime, wasn't always compensated for it. And so after doing that over and over again, I got another job at a brewery, and I told them never to ask me to do any kind of supervising or managing. I just want to be a server. I'll work this many days. And because of that, I was able to put time into my own thing because I knew I had that drive. I just was never putting it towards something for myself.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make a little more money on the side. And I actually started everything as a bath bomb business.
Wow. Okay. That explains a lot because when I was watching your Instagram reels, I think you mentioned something about restaurants and things, and I just thought, oh, okay, maybe, yeah, you just sort of dabbled in that a little bit. But wow, for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So
right out of high school, and then a year after that, I moved to New York City, where I worked in fine dining for 3 years.
So would you was it very stressful, obviously being in the restaurant business? I can imagine that being very stressful.
It's incredibly stressful. Yeah, it's stressful physically and mentally.
Yeah.
It's so much customer service. It's so much walking around. That's one thing I didn't really think about when I started, when I went full time with my business now, is I sit so much.
Yes.
I didn't realize how much exercise I got working in restaurants. You get a lot. You're like constantly walking back and forth, especially when you're working like 10 to 12-hour days. So,
yeah.
But yeah, incredibly stressful. I was so unhappy for more than half of that time working in restaurants. So I'm just so happy to not be doing that anymore. I mean, I did love it and I learned so much from it, and I learned so much about customer service and how to talk to people. So I think it really helped a lot. And realizing how much time I would put into these places and that I could actually put that towards something of my own.
Yeah, fantastic. So I can obviously imagine that all those skills that you've learned, and especially dealing with customers, were you able to obviously move that across to your small business? Can you tell me about how you were able to sort of make that shift over to your business?
Like how I just
overall,
or just the customer service part?
Yeah, so some of the skills that you've carried across, for example, dealing with customers and your customer service, and how you're able to move some of those skills and knowledge across from the restaurant business over to your small business.
So I actually really like people. That probably won't come as a surprise to a lot of people, but what I did find out working in customer service for so long is that it's best to just treat other people like a human and actually talk to them and tell them what's going on. And usually they're not actually mad, they're just confused and they're trying to figure out how to fix a problem. And knowing that really has helped me in my business. Because sometimes something happens and the initial email seems aggressive, and now I'm able to realize that they just are confused, and it's easy to work through it with people. So I'm very happy I got that part from customer service, and I can always assume the best in people. I don't think I have had an interaction in my business so far where I actually had a bad time with somebody that I can think of.
Yeah, I can definitely relate in regards to, when customers sort of sent you an email and they're confused and they sort of, first of all, they sort of come across aggressive, right? Don't they, in the messaging? So there was this experience which I'll quickly share. So somebody bought something from my website, because I do hair and skincare. So they bought some product, and the way that I set it up, the image showed like a bundle and then it showed the individual item. So they thought they were buying the bundle, which was showing, how you can use the product sort of thing. So when they got the one item, they were like furious. And I was like, okay, Ruth, just think, how would I have reacted if I was on the opposite side? And I thought, oh, okay, I'm seeing where they're coming from. So I quickly emailed them and said, I'm really sorry. My listing, showed the bundle instead of the individual item, but don't worry, I'm going to send you the rest of the items and I'll fix this from my end. And of course, I think they were like waiting on the phone. 5 minutes later, they're like, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I understand. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad. I said to my husband, I'm so glad I didn't, I wasn't aggressive back. So that was a great lesson. Yeah.
Also, they help you learn something. Like now you know to change a product photo or something.
Exactly.
So it works out.
It does. So I can imagine you, sort of like how you said that you love people and you're able to move that over to your business is a great lesson, isn't it? So,
yes.
Yeah. Now, Brianca, you go.
There was a point working in restaurants I thought I didn't like people anymore. But restaurants will do that to you too. And it only lasted for a little while. And at the time I was working every single day, like 12-hour shifts. I didn't even
Wow.
know who I was anymore. So
Well, good on you for taking the step to, find some other passion. So can you tell me, when was it that you thought, you know what, I want to try doing my polymer clay and resin artwork? Do you remember that day when you had that light bulb moment? Yes, I can do something
so
else.
I I guess it started, so I was following several people on YouTube that I had seen start their own business. One woman in particular started a bath bomb business. I actually don't watch her videos that often anymore, and I can't remember her name, which is sad because she really inspired me. But I saw that and I thought, okay, I really want to figure out a way to make money through an online business. Growing up, I loved making videos. I had different YouTube channels that I won't mention because that's embarrassing. I don't want people to look at it. But so I knew there was a way, and I was like, okay, well, I'll try bath bombs because I love taking baths, and I see this woman doing it. And I knew I didn't want to work in restaurants forever. And so I started doing that on the side. It took me like 3 months to figure out my recipe. And at the time, I was also running a TikTok account for our cats. We have 3 cats. And it had started doing really well. So I thought, okay, I can do this. So thank you to my cats as well. And once I did finally start it, I put the jewelry I was making on the side, which was mainly resin at that point, on my website because I didn't really think people would be interested in it. I had been making it for several years for friends and family, and it did much better than the bath bombs. And very shortly after that, I started working with polymer clay. So I started working with polymer clay basically when I first started my business, and that's what really took off. So it wasn't even the plan in the start.
Yeah.
It's just I started showing like some behind the scenes, and that's what people liked.
Yeah. Well, that is fantastic because sometimes as a small business owner, you sort of go through different passions or different ways to make a living. So you obviously did try some other things. So it wasn't like, you just went like that. Yes, let me go and do, jewelry. You actually had other experiences and you've done other things. Wow. Yes. Yeah. It's very encouraging. It's really encouraging because I think when people sort of watch, small business owners on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube and they see that success, I don't think they sort of really stop to think, wait a minute, did this person, how many goes is that? Is that like their 4th try? Is that like their 4th business? Is that their 10th? And a lot of the time when you see a successful person like yourself, I think people just need to have a stop and think, and I think that will really help them to not compare too much.
I did a lot of things. I also tried drop shipping for a little bit right at the start, which I'm not super happy about because I just didn't think I could make a living off of handmade things. And then you figure it out. I mean, and you were baking hair products for yourself and for your daughter. And you said people started asking because they noticed your hair looked really nice, right?
Exactly.
And were you trying anything before that? Were you online anyway? Or did you just then have to learn how to do all of that afterwards?
Yes. So with me, I started doing like little wire art. Okay. So I used so that was just a hobby. So when I had my daughter Evie, she's 15 now. So when I had her, I just sort of and because I was teaching full time, so I stopped teaching obviously to have her. And then after that, I was like, I needed something to do, and I didn't want to go straight into work. So I decided to find something just to keep me occupied. Not that I wasn't busy, with a newborn. But anyway, so I started doing wire art, and then that sort of went on to, because it wasn't really selling. Like it was more like a hobby. And then and then I had a few people who wanted to do like a little party with me, come to my house, and So I would showcase them, the product and so forth. And that sort of went on for like a few years. And then I just wanted to look after my daughter's hair. And then I made some stuff and all these people were like, can I buy it? And I'm like, oh no, I'm not selling. And my husband's like, let them buy. And I thought, well, it needs to look nice. So of course, my teacher brain, I dove straight into it and started doing some research on how I can make it look pretty. And anyway, the rest is history. So again, a bit like you and me, like we sort of
kind
have
of like a little hobby, or like a little hobby. Yeah.
Yeah. So so it is a great story to sort of tell people that, just because one thing doesn't work, the first thing doesn't work, doesn't mean you should stop. Because I find that you sort of carry over those skills to the next thing.
Yes. Yeah, you're slowly learning all these things. I think also, I think I started my business 2 years ago now, which is weird to think, but I can't believe how much stuff I've learned in that amount of time. It's insane. It almost hurts to think about. So I'm glad we both had a little bit of time right before that to just get like a little taste of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm just looking here on my notes, and I love that you said like you started your business 2 years ago, and you weren't really thinking that it was going to take off, and then it all of a sudden started taking off. And there was a particular reel that you mentioned that I think you said you joined a Instagram growth agency or something, and they encouraged you to show your face a bit more and to be a bit more in your reel. Can you tell me about that agency and how helpful were they in getting you to showcase your...
That was actually only about 2 months ago. So I joined that agency because as an artist, I could make a decent amount of money off of what I make, which is amazing. But I did want to find another source of income as well. And I know, because I post videos online and I love making videos, and I had already worked with several brands and partnerships and made money off of that, that I could continue doing that as another source of income. So the agency I work with is called Small Screen, and I have an agent who helps me find brand partnerships. So basically, like, my job as a content creator, influencer, that's like my other source of income, and then I have my art part. So and to create a closer brand or bond with everyone, they asked me to start showing my face, so that when a video comes up and my face is on it, they recognize me. Whereas before that, I didn't really show my face. So if a video, they were scrolling through and they saw a video and they saw my workstation and the start of working with polymer clay, then they would recognize that. So I did have quite a dip in followers right when I started doing it. I actually lost quite a few, and now it's already going back up. So it did work out to do that. But so that's why I started with them 2 months ago.
Wow. Well, I think it is obviously fantastic to see an artist in their zone. And I love all your vlogs, because I know you started that very recently.
Yes.
And your day in a life. And I mean, I went through the comments and I read the comments, and you can see people were just blown away. And I mean, you've got a beautiful warm manner, so people just connect with you very quickly. So yeah, I can just see all these comments, and people are just so amazed by it. So do you find that when you started showing your face, because I know you said you lost some followers, did you find that you actually you gained more followers when you were showing your face a bit more?
That's when I started losing them. So, I actually didn't lose more than my average. So it didn't drop that way. I wasn't gaining as many people because I think I would confuse the Instagram algorithm, because they're like, now we don't know who to give your content to. And because of that, I wasn't gaining as many followers to cancel out the loss. Because I lose around 100 to 150 followers a day on average. That's just how it works. And then I usually gain anywhere from like 200 to 1,000 a day. It just depends.
Yeah.
And I wasn't gaining anybody, but I still had everyone that supported me so much.
Yes.
And all the comments are so sweet on all my posts. I don't know how I ended up with such nice people.
Well, you deserve it. They are really beautiful. So I think, when I found you, which was like 2 weeks ago, all I saw was, wow, she is so lucky to have such a beautiful community. So keep it up. And let's talk about the reel that you did where you went from, was it from your hometown? Was it Montana? And then you went through was it Costa Rica or somewhere? Can you tell me about that 2 weeks experience? Because that was just so beautiful.
So
right, now quickly, if you are watching and you have not subscribed yet, please can I ask you to subscribe and share, like and comment if you can do that, because it really helps me a lot, and it helps spread the word of how small business owners can be supported. So be sure to do that, and thank you once again. Back to the podcast.
So my sister lives in Chicago, and I wanted to visit her, and I already told my parents I would visit them. They are retired now, and they bought a house in Costa Rica. I'm so proud of them for spending their retirement money and actually having a good time.
Yeah.
And they're going to laugh at me when they see this. But I told them I wanted to visit them in February as well, and I was going to see my sister. Tickets were way cheaper to Costa Rica from Chicago than from Montana. So I just thought I'll go to Chicago for 1 week and then Costa Rica for the other week. And they were two very different experiences, because Chicago was like going out every night and eating and drinking and staying up way too late. And then Costa Rica was like just laying out in the sun and maybe working on something and going to a botanical garden. And we went to the beach for 2 days, and it was just so relaxed.
Oh, wow.
But then I could also bring work with me, which is so fun. I love that I can bring this with me and still feel productive while I am doing something like that.
Beautiful. And we got to see your sort of day-to-day life, and you went to the botanical gardens, right? Can you tell me about that link to your business? Because I know that you get very inspired by nature for your work. Mm-hmm. And all right, tell me about that botanical garden experience. And
it was amazing. So the traditional house plants I have here grow as huge trees in Costa Rica. So it was just, it was fun to see those and be like, wow, that can get that big. That's amazing. It won't in my house, thank goodness. But they just have such amazing foliage. There weren't as many flowers. I think it was also just the time of the season, but I'm not sure. But I also have such a tie, like, of course, botanicals is in the name of my business. I have such a tie to plants. I grew up gardening, and I love florals, and we have a vegetable garden as well, and then floral gardens all around our house. So I've always loved flowers and plants, and our living room is a jungle of house plants right now. So, but it's always been. I've just always loved them.
Yeah, beautiful. And so the way, because you said that your business name, so Belize Botanicals, what inspired you to name it that? Obviously, it's got the botanicals attached to it.
So my favorite flower is a daisy, and my sister also tells me that I remind her of a daisy. So I was like, okay, I need Daisy in my business name. Daisy is in so many business names. And that's fair. It's a great word. It's a great flower. So Bellis perennis,
okay.
I don't know if that's correct, but I think so,
that's okay.
Is the scientific name for a daisy. So I thought, okay, Bellis, and then it was going to be a bath bomb business. So Bellis Botanicals just sounded right. And then once I started growing so quickly online with my jewelry, I was like, I can't rebrand now. So we're just going to keep it.
Yes.
And I love it. I would still have Bellis in the name. I don't know if I'd had botanicals, but it still works. But there's definitely some people that I tell, and they think it's a like a bath and body business.
Well, it's a beautiful name, and you should be very proud of it. And don't change it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know you did your beautiful floral collection, and oh my goodness, I will definitely insert in the middle between us over here. I'll put that reel from Instagram, and it is amazing. It is so detailed. It is so time consuming. Let's talk about time consuming. How long did it take you to create your miniature orchids? Earrings. Amazing.
Thank you. Those did take a really long time, probably longer than a lot of things I make, but it was worth it. Just figuring out which orchid to make took a while. I actually have a follower who grows so many orchids, so I messaged her. I was like, hey, would you send me some pictures of orchids? She's like, yes, I will send you so many. So I got to look through all those, and I chose one. And once I did that, it was kind of planning out how I would design the earring at the end, and then figuring out how many different clay canes I would need for it, which are those long pieces of clay with the design all the way through them that I make. And that took a long time to make each clay cane and then reduce them down. So I think in total, it took probably 4 days just to get that first flower made and know how to make it from that point, because it's a lot of like testing and messing up and starting over, and then once you finally get the first one, you're like, okay, now I know how to make it. I have everything ready to make more. So after that, the process is a little faster, but it takes a while. It's really the figuring it out that takes the longest.
Oh, it is just amazing. I mean, the choice of colors, obviously, from the picture, but still the way that you put your clay together to form the design, and then you roll them up to form the cane, and then you cut them up. Oh my goodness. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, which I think you did cover in one of your reels, is fingerprints on your How have you been able to get around that, not getting a lot of fingerprints on your, jewelry, on your polymer clay?
On something that I am touching a lot, I will get fingerprints on it, and then I just use some rubbing alcohol and a cotton swab to wipe it off very gently. You can do the same if you get dust on it. It's a really nice little trick, so thank goodness. But then certain petals I'll form on the palm of my hand, so on the back of the petal there will be kind of a handprint on it, but it looks more natural to what a petal would look like, so I kind of like that it's there. And other than that, I have really cold hands naturally, which helps the clay not melt too much in them and create that imprint, so that works out for me. I am always cold all the time, which is unfortunate, but you gotta find the good things in it, I guess.
Yeah, well, it was meant to be. You're supposed to be doing what you're doing. Your body is already set and ready for it. So good, good work there. Yeah. So seriously, I will like I said, I will insert that image there. But I was just so mesmerized in how you put the polymer clay together to form that design. Then you roll it, and then you put it through your, what do you call it? Your Lucy Clay elephant machine, which is right behind you.
Oh,
Can you tell me? Because I know you said you got that very recently. Can you tell me
I got
about that?
this. When did I get this? I've been showing it in videos more, but I got this maybe a year ago now.
Oh, okay.
But I also have another clay roller, which you saw in the orchid video, that is different, that I left at my parents' house. But it's also an amazing one, and I got it for when I'm traveling and I want one. But yeah, this is great. It's made specifically for clay. It is probably one of the most expensive things in my office, but it's so worth it. I was getting to the point where I didn't even want to work with clay anymore. I was so frustrated with all the other clay rollers I had.
Yes.
So yeah, I only have good things to say about it.
Well, very good. And such a great name, Lucy Clay Elephant. Is it just the type of machine? Is it because it's got that sort of the winding handle on the side? Is that what?
So
what gives
Lucy,
it the elephant machine name?
So yeah, so Lucy Clay is the brand name, and then Elephant
Oh,
Machine. I think that they had a design before that that has a different name.
okay.
And then they called this one the Elephant Machine because their original design didn't have the two legs, two sides.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like, I think that's why. And then maybe because this is like the trunk. Is that what you were thinking?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I
I
was
think.
thinking.
So yeah, I think that's why they call it that. And it's big. It's a
Yeah.
big machine.
Wow. So before the machine, were you like using like rollers or something to roll with your hand or?
Yes, here, I'll show you. I use this acrylic hand roller for everything, which
Oh my
it worked
gosh.
when I was making smaller amounts of things, but
Yeah.
it takes so long. And I probably worked with this for about 6 months before I actually bought my first clay roller. And it was just the clay roller I bought was just a cheap one from Michael's, I think, and it broke the day I got it. But I managed to kind of jerry rig it so I could still use it.
Oh my goodness.
And that's what I continued using for a long time. And every time I turned
Yes.
it, my whole office shook. It just, it was bad, but it was better than rolling it with my hands. So I was happy.
Yes. That would have been very painful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the next thing I'd like to talk to you about is your beautiful tutorials that you are doing, because you also have like an online tutorial, is that correct? Can you tell me about what inspired you to do your tutorials online?
So for a long time, I was mostly posting process videos, which are great, and it helped me grow so quickly because, I mean, in a process video, you're offering multiple different things to people. If someone is making clay like me, they're learning from it. If someone is a customer, they're seeing the value behind this product. And if they aren't either of those, they're just like, whoa, this is crazy. And also, is this cheese? What is this? So I have a lot of people thinking it's cheese or fruit roll-ups or pasta before the finished result. So those were doing so well, but it was burning me out so much to try to put out enough process videos to keep people really watching them. And I was just trying to keep up with the growth. And I really needed to slow down. And so that's why I started adding different types of content. So I have my blog now. I did like an office tour. And then I do want to teach people how to work with polymer clay, especially because I feel like I've learned a lot in the last 2 years. So tutorials was the next thing I wanted to add. And hopefully I have longer tutorials on YouTube soon. So this is like kind of my practice before I start with long form videos as well.
Yeah. Well, that is amazing. And I love your tutorials, because you really are not gatekeeping at all, are you?
No, there's no need to.
You are just so generous, and you're sharing so much on Instagram, and it's just amazing and it's impressive. And yeah, people are really, I'm sure they're connecting, with you on that note, because you're just so kind and generous. And I think the one that really, oh my gosh, I was so mind blown, is the beautiful butterfly one where you, oh my goodness, I'll put that there as well. So you put so many different layers, and I think you were able to cut some of the clay, and then you merged some together, and then you took it through the machine again, and then you put another, like, tell me about that process. It's incredible. Brianca,
So
goodness.
thanks. You can probably see this is a bunch of the butterflies I've made. I've been trying to keep at least one of every one that I've made. But the butterflies were something I wanted to try for a long time. And they really helped me grow a lot. And I loved making them. And so I just started trying different colors and asking followers, like, what butterfly should I try to make? And then I really leaned into monarch butterflies and just trying different colors with them. And I mean, they're butterflies. Who doesn't love butterflies? They're so pretty.
But yeah, I mean, the detailing. And then I think, because a customer asked you, can you show them the process? So, my goodness. And then I think you also added little white canes or something like that in there to create the little white
a little spot.
The spots, exactly. And then you went to the next layer. So you basically had like 1, 2, 3, 4 top wing, of course, in the bottom. And and then you did the little, like you sliced them to show us, you know, this is the bit that you really need, because the first few slices were not quite, you know, showing the patterns. So that is just amazing. So do you can you tell me, when did you think, how did you get the idea to create all those layers to form that? It's just so amazing.
So polymer clay canes are, I don't know who came up with them, but it's kind of the same art form of those candies that have the designs all the way through them. So I don't know where that first started, but I knew they existed because of some artists I followed. So then I started looking at more YouTube videos on how to make them, and just messing up a lot and learning from that. And once I learned how to make a Skinner blend, which is that gradient, like the clay slab flat piece, that's a gradient, and how to make that into a cane, I realized I could make butterflies. So I had to try it. I'm glad I did.
But, yes. Yeah, well done. And then also there was another one where you did I think you're wearing one of them. Is it the snakes? The snake earring?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That too, like, time consuming, obviously. You obviously have to be super, super patient. So do you find that some of your jewelry and stuff can take more than a day, like 2 days, 3 days? Do you have processes that go on for that long?
Now I do, because I try to make a lot, because I always feel really bad when people don't get something they want in a collection drop. So I try to make anywhere from like 20 to sometimes 40 pairs of earrings, usually not, because that takes a really long time. And most of my earrings take around 30 minutes on the short end, and then up to 3 hours for a pair for other ones. So sometimes it does take several days, or it'll take me a full week if I don't want to get really burned out on it. And I've learned to basically have an assembly line, so I'll make the first part of everything and then the second. And once you're that far in, you can't stop. So I'm able to actually finish things too.
Yeah, very good. Because I know you've got your floral collection launch coming up end of March. Are you all ready for that, or are you still working on that?
Oh, I'm not even close. I'm a great procrastinator too, though.
Same.
So what I like to do is take it kind of slow and tell myself I have a good amount of time to get everything done. And then about a week before, I barely sleep and I just work nonstop and create nonstop. I don't really know who I am anymore, what time it is, what day it is. And then I have the online release, and it's amazing and it's great. And then it's another 2 weeks of making sure everything else is assembled and we get all the packages out. And luckily my boyfriend helps me now with shipping. I don't know what I would do without him. So yeah, I'm a great procrastinator because I still get it done.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't know I'm a good procrastinator, because that's also where I go wrong. But yeah, you do the same thing.
Yes, I do. Especially this week. It's just a little bit quieter this week. So I've been sort of just taking a breather.
Yeah.
And I do like to work really, like, you know, when I'm working, and when I am needing to have that break, I know when to have it. And so I really do try not to be too hard on myself, and I think we're very similar. So I know when things need to be done. I have deadlines, and I can really work. Sometimes I can work till like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I've done 3 a.m. I have done 4 because I was trying to relaunch my brand. That was crazy. Yeah. And I know you've done it 2 a.m., Brio, and I was like,
5 a.m.
We're on the same level.
There's been, and like, have you ever done a market with your hair care products? And you do
Yes, I
skincare
have.
too, you were saying?
Yes, hair and
Yeah.
skincare, that's right.
There's been nights before a market, I'll stay up for so long because I have so much I want to get done and have there. And then I'm like, okay, if I go to sleep now, I'll get 4 hours. So I should probably just finish everything because I'll be too tired in the morning and just have it ready so I can just walk out of the house like a zombie after 2 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I think, but sometimes I'm happy that I've just pushed myself to do that, because then the next day I'm like, great, okay, we're all set. We're good.
Yes.
I'll just be a little loopy.
That's right. And the great thing is, of course, the adrenaline, when that kicks in, whoa,
Effective.
you're so high and you're like ready to go and nothing is going to stop you. So, yeah, you got to like, and I think as a small business owner, you need to be flexible. You need to allow yourself and, give yourself grace, and you need to, get things done when you need to and just chill and relax. So,
yeah,
I am
you need to know when to give yourself a break too. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, this is why we work for ourselves, because we know we need to give ourselves that grace and have that time, that flexibility. And talking about flexibility and things like that. Oh, before I move on, actually, congratulations on your boyfriend being super amazing. I love that reel, by the way, where he was tucked underneath your bookshelf.
Oh my gosh.
Tucked away, that was just great.
I was like, would you just stand on it and roll out with this shelf? And I pull it out and he goes, no, I want to lay on the bottom shelf. And he just looked dead. And I was like, okay, it's fine. We'll post it.
Fantastic.
And I didn't say anything about it, but I'm glad you noticed. I'm glad a few other people noticed.
In the comments, lots of people are like, good on him. So glad he's been supportive. So you've got your boyfriend who's super supportive. What about your parents and friends? Are they very supportive of your business?
Hi there, just a quick little word from our sponsor. Now, as you know, I'm a small business owner and this is my small business, See My Curls. So basically, See My Curls, my small business, sponsors this channel. So if you have wavy hair, curly hair, coily hair, or locks, and you like to try some natural, handmade, and organic products, be sure to check out seemycurls.com.au. And I hope that will inspire you to continue your curly hair journey. And yeah, let me know how you go. You can either follow me on my See My Curls Instagram page, or you can follow me at my Instagram page as well for these channel. All right, back to the podcast.
Business.
Yeah, I've actually been very lucky because I know some people don't have as many supportive people around them, but even the brewery I was working in, they were so supportive about me starting a small business, which was amazing because I would be leaving them eventually and they're still like, yeah, we want to help you and whatever we can do. And I had a lot of friends around me that were really supportive. My parents as well. I will say though, sorry to my mom, but she didn't think I could make enough money off of this. At the time, I wasn't sure either, but, and now she's just blown away by it all. And it is such a different world. And I think the online aspect is so helpful to artists because I know it was probably so much harder before we could sell online and show our artwork online and connect with people all around the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a lot of support, and my boyfriend Colin has believed in every single thing I do. I don't know why, but I guess he likes me. So
yeah, oh, bless him. Well, it is really important to have, like you said, to have that support or the cheerleading squad from family and friends. And I definitely, you go.
I do want to say also, I found a makers collective where I live that just was able to help me so much. And once you find other people who are doing a similar thing and either struggling with you or they have a solution for something you're struggling with, it is so helpful. And to have these people that just cheering you on online and helping you at a market if you need to borrow something. Yeah, that was nice too.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So it definitely does. It's fantastic. It boosts our spirit. It boosts our, morale, and it just keeps us going. So definitely, it is a must if you're, anyone trying to start a small business. Make sure you've got that support system. And yeah. So yeah, talk about support systems, small businesses. How many different hats do you wear, Brianca? Because I'm sure you wear all of them at the moment. Can you tell me about some of the hats that you have to wear for your business?
I'll list some of them and then you can let me know if I forgot any,
Yeah.
because I'm sure you do the same. Let's see. I learned how to be my own accountant for a while. I did my taxes. I've always done my taxes, but once you have a business doing your taxes, that was a mess. That was insane. I actually hired an accountant this year, and I just sent her all my documents, and it's just such a weird feeling, and I'm very excited about it. That's another thing. Don't be scared to outsource help in your small business once you can, because I was so stubborn about it. But yeah, you're doing all the online work. So you're designing your website, you're putting up the listings for your products after you are also a photographer, because you have to take pictures of those products and they have to be good. And then you're also marketing it on social media. So you need to learn videography, how each social media platform works, how to work with each algorithm. And then you also need to keep up with all your inboxes. So your email and all your direct messages. And then you kind of become your own lawyer as well, because people try to steal your videos or your business. And I had to fight that a lot. And most of the time, if you're kind, you reach out to me and say, hey, I really don't like that you're using this. Do you mind taking it down? They are nice and they will take it down, but sometimes they will block you, and then you need to know your next steps. So there's that. Let's see. Oh yeah, you have to learn how to set up markets and run markets.
Yeah.
What else have I missed?
Of course, the SEO for your website.
Oh, SEO.
Yes, designing the website, making sure everything looks aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, sales tax. Luckily, I don't have to deal with a sales tax because I'm in Montana. But sales tax, international taxes, international shipping has been a headache for me. Yeah, there's so much more.
Just goes on
I
and on.
I don't even remember it. Yeah.
Yes, it is really. I think I was telling another small business owner during an interview that last year was actually the first year that I started being a bit more sensible and letting go of a lot of control. So I did hire someone to do, they call it, it's a digital photography. So basically when I design my labels on Photoshop, love Photoshop. When I did the design, before I sent it off for printing, I just emailed him the design, and then he was able to use it and wrap around the image of the bottles and the bottles and the jars and make it look really, really fancy, like a photography. So it's called digital photography. So I used it for my listing. I was so happy I did that, because previous years I would be sitting there getting my lighting right, trying to take the photograph, and then I'll get that done and I'll move it over to Photoshop and trim. Oh my gosh, it went on and on and on. So anyway, last year I actually hired someone, paid them, and they did a beautiful job. So I decided that's it. I'm going to make sure I outsource a bit more. It's life-changing.
It's so nice. And I think when Colin took over the shipping, he had a conversation with me because I was showing him how to do something. And he's like, I know you love to micromanage. And of course, in the moment, I get so defensive. And then he's like, but if we're going to do this, I get to do it the way that works for me. I was like, I went and sat down because I was annoyed. I was like, okay, yeah, this does make sense. And I can't just be controlling everything, because then it doesn't even matter that I have help. I'm still doing it in a sense. And then like things you're not great at too. I'm not great at organization online. And I did actually recently hire my friend Caitlin, who takes care of my email and my personal email and a lot of DM requests. And she keeps up with comments and just not all the comments because I love replying to comments, but and then she also just organizes things that I have online. Like she organized what is that graphic design company? Canva, right?
Yes.
She organized my Canva account because it was an absolute mess. There were like 1,000 designs not in folders. My personal email had, I think she said after she got through, it was over 100,000 something emails. And it saves me probably like 1 to 2 hours a day having someone else taking care of that because I'm just not good at staying organized with it and I get distracted. And then I'm on this deep dive about a certain butterfly species when I should have been replying to an email. So it doesn't work.
Yes.
That's when it's good to outsource it, especially if you're able to. And it took me a long time. I don't think I had help from anyone for a little over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was convinced I could continue doing it on my own, but I was so tired.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's a very, very sensible and a very good move. And I mean, I wish I did that years and years ago. But that's okay because I think it sort of shaped my journey. But I'm very impressed that you got yours. You started doing that so much sooner than later. So good on you.
Well, and I think it's also because it's your business. It's like your baby, and you don't really want anybody else doing something in it. So yeah, the stubbornness. But yeah, sure. I'm sorry that it took you so long.
I know. I'm sorry too. I'm really sorry too. And my husband did encourage me several times, but I was like, oh no, because coming from a teaching background, I sort of basically taught myself everything. So, but yeah, I think that was something that I probably should have learned. I should have been a better student for to myself. But anyway, yeah. So, talking about email and stuff. Do you find that you are very good at sending out emails to your customers to update them on stuff, or is that what your friend, is it Katie? Is that what she helps you with as well?
No, I do send out the emails. I'm not great at it. It would be kind of fun to have a newsletter, but I'm trying not to add more things right now. I'm trying to reduce the amount of things I'm doing. So I send out an email a week before I have a collection drop on my website, and then the day of. So those are the only times I send emails out to my email list. What she takes care of is just everything else that comes through and kind of organizes any important things, or if there's a customer that has a problem that she can't solve through the website, then she lets me know and I take care of it. So basically I wake up, I check our notes that we do back and forth to each other, and I see what I have to do, and she takes care of the rest, and she keeps it organized because I would never delete anything and it would just be a mess.
Very good, very good. So can you tell me a bit about your sort of day in a life? Like what do you do? Because I know you've shown some of the stuff on Instagram, showing us like a daily vlog. So can you tell me what you do first thing in the morning, like, to get yourself ready for work, that sort of thing?
For a long time, I was just getting up, walking straight into my office in my pajamas, didn't have breakfast, didn't drink water for way too long. And first of all, I would forget to eat until way too late in the day. And second of all, you're just not as productive if you don't actually get up and get ready for the day. So now, before I can log into my office, it's a rule that I at least eat breakfast and drink water and be cognizant. And I usually try to also take a shower and get dressed. And then I feel better about starting my day, and I actually am more productive. And then I'll come into my office and I'll start on all the computer work first and see how much there is for that, and then see if I needed to post anything or finish editing a video. And I also post content for another social media account for the collective that I mentioned earlier. So I post every Monday for them and Friday a reel. And once I get through all of that, then I have the rest of the day to figure out what I'm working on, to record a process or to record a tutorial or whatever else there is. Or maybe I need to go into town for something, or I need to order something. Yeah, I just try to get I try to remember I'm a human first and eat and get dressed, and then I do computer work, and then usually I'm able to create afterwards or get very distracted with something else.
Yeah, very good. I really like that routine. That sounds very sensible, and I think I was pretty much like that too. I'll drop the kids off at school, and then I'll come home, and of course, working from home, you know, there are like so many distractions. Not bad, but you know, things like, you know, washing up the dishes, putting things away, making the bed, and before you know it, it's like 11 o'clock and you haven't started working for yourself. So yeah, so I've had to put in place some very you know, deliberate sort of tactic or, you know, strategies just to tell me, okay, it's 9 o'clock, that's fine, just leave everything there, go and do some work for a few hours and then come back, that sort of thing. Or just be flexible, get everything done by 10 o'clock, 10:30, then go and work the whole day. So yeah, so
That's
again,
good.
yeah, we
I'm still not great on the sorry.
It's okay, you go.
Okay. I'm still not great on the not getting distracted and like starting to do the dishes and then accidentally cleaning the whole house.
I know.
Really,
Talk about,
I don't
you
know
know,
how it happens.
procrastinating.
Oh, I'm great at the productive procrastinating. Yeah. Really good at it.
So true. Yeah. So let's talk about social media, because I know we sort of covered it just a little bit. Do you find that social media for you is become more like a chore or something that you enjoy?
It's definitely something I enjoy, but it has been a chore. And and when it was a chore is when I realized I need to change something.
Yeah.
But when I first started really growing, it was really fast. It was sometimes 50 to 70,000 followers gained in a month. And that was last summer, I think. Yeah, there's another thing about owning a small business. Your sense of time is just gone. But I grew so quickly and I was so excited about it and I wanted to keep up with it. I wanted to keep it going. And because of that, I burned myself out so badly that I eventually realized I needed to take a break way too late. And I went off of social media for a week, did it all. It was such muscle memory to open it though, so I had to move it on my phone. And when I came back, it was fine. It didn't matter that I had left for a week. And that's when I realized I am making this way too hard on myself. It doesn't need to be this way. And I feel like I am allowed to take a break sometimes if I really need to. All I have to say is, hey, you guys, I'm going to be gone for this amount of time. I'm still alive. Don't worry. And it's okay. And because of that, it no longer feels like a chore again. I really enjoy it. I love making videos. I've always really loved making videos. Yeah. So I do love it now. But there was a time I let it become a chore. And it's so easy to let it.
It is.
Like overcome you. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think that with work-life balance, do you think that you've got that sort of sorted, or you're still working on trying to have a work-life balance?
I am much better about it now than I was. And I think I was really lucky too, because I did grow very quickly and I applied for so many markets last summer and they all accepted me, which I did not expect. And I was so happy about it. And I was like, okay, great. I can do 3 markets a week and also do online releases and also post every other day or every day. You can't do that. It's just not possible. And I accepted that I had completely basically given up my summer to my business. And I didn't really do much outside of working. I think I went in my garden several times, which I used to go in every single day and take care of the plants. And that was really sad for me. And at the time I realized, okay, this is how it is right now, and I'll get through it. And then I need to figure this out. So now I definitely have more time for myself. And my boyfriend and I have like a set day for each other where we go on a date, and I work in the morning and then I stop. But I go in and out of kind of working all day and then getting back on schedule where I'm working until like 6, but much better than it used to be.
Very good, very good. Yes, it's definitely important. And my husband used to always tell me, just go for a walk, go for a walk on the beach and go and do this. And I'd be like, no, I'm too busy. And again, only last year, I think last year was like my year of awakening, of, trying to come up with all this amazing way to help me, survive and to just continue enjoying, working for myself. So I started playing field hockey this year, actually, which I am loving. I know. So because I'm like, do you know what, I really do need to do something differently. And I started running early in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, when nobody's out and it's just so quiet, so cool. And I go for a run. I find that my body and my mind is sort of set for the day. So I'm very, very impressed that you're also doing something to sort of break up your work routine. Yeah. Oh, very good.
Yeah, going out for a run or a walk.
Yeah.
Going out for a run or a walk like you do, it's very helpful.
Yeah. Very
also,
refreshing.
I will say, I think when you're first starting a small business like this, your hobby suddenly is your business. And because of that, you want to put so much time into it, all your time, until you realize 100%. That now you don't have any free time and this is what you've done to yourself.
Yeah.
When really you can change that.
Yeah.
And
precisely.
It's just realizing that too.
Yeah. So, Brianca, we have talked a bit about, challenges and stuff in your business. Was there any, do you have any other challenges that you found that it was very, very difficult when you were, in the past 2 years working for yourself?
Besides the overworking and kind of almost losing passion for certain things.
Yeah.
Growing so quickly on social media was a huge struggle for me. And it always felt weird to tell people, because then it's like, oh, you're complaining about doing well on social media. But it's really overwhelming to gain that many people and to realize that they're actual people. And suddenly you have 100,000 people watching what you're making. And then some videos, several million. And so I had to figure out rules to set for myself, because sometimes I would get nasty comments as well. So now what I do is I usually only respond to comments for a day or two. If a video goes viral, I no longer check the comments on there for my own mental health. I am slightly careful about certain things I post, because I've gotten some really bad DMs before, just from trying to help people or certain organizations. But there's certain things I will be very open about as well, because I'm not going to hold back too. But setting those boundaries really helped. And then once I had them, I realized it doesn't actually matter if I'm getting these mean DMs or comments.
Just brush them
because I have so many amazing people following me too, and so many nice comments. But just the sudden amount of people watching what I was making, and then having to figure out how to make enough for everyone, because when I first started, I didn't really even finish a lot of the jewelry I was making because none of it sold. So actually realizing I had to figure out how long it took me to make enough. I was always late on shop updates, so I had to actually discipline myself to have it ready and live at this certain time. So it was just like being pushed blindly into running a full-blown business in a few months. And that was insane. That was hard. But I'm really happy about it too. And I'm very happy it happened now and that I was able to survive it.
Yes.
And I feel really lucky as well. But it was a lot.
Yeah. Well, that is good because, you know, having strategies on how to cope, like, you know, coping mechanism, fantastic. And I can only imagine, you know, how you would have been like feeling so overwhelmed with, you know, all those nasty comments and how to deal with it. So I'm glad that you've got that in place to, you know, not to read too much into their comments, because I think a lot of the time when people, it's a bit like Facebook. My husband and I were talking about that, you know, how he says, what's on your mind? And I think a lot of the time people sort of type, it's almost like they're not thinking, just say what's really on their mind. They don't think, wait a minute, I'm actually talking to another person when I'm typing.
There's a disconnect, yeah. Something, and that's also, it's very nice being in contact with more people online like you or other creators.
Yeah.
Because they have, like, they know, like, this is actually a real human behind this, and and they know what you've gone through too. But I think people, once they see someone in a video, if they don't have any experience posting online or anything like that, there's just a disconnect. Like if you watch a movie, you don't know the actor, and it just doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It makes sense that there's disconnect, but it's strange. And
it is.
I think people will comment not realizing that they're talking to a real person that might see certain things they say.
Exactly. But also, and I think I read on your Instagram, you've got so many amazing followers, and some of them actually reply for you, you know, like in a really nice way, like they're like, you know, rooting for you. Yes. It's just so beautiful to see. And so don't you worry if you don't get to read all the comments, because people are there, your followers, your fans.
I know. I've noticed that too. And I love it so much.
It's beautiful. And they almost like tell that, you know, those mean people, you know, do you know what? You don't have to watch this. Just move on, buddy. Just go on. Just leave our Brianca alone. Go somewhere else, you know. So they are looking after you.
I know. It makes me happy.
Very, very nice. Now, Brianca, we're getting close towards the end of our beautiful interview, and it's just been so nice and relaxing, and I've just absolutely loved it. Now, is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you would like to add?
One thing that, and it's still holding me back from my YouTube account, but one thing that really held me back from not starting something like this sooner was just feeling strange about posting online. And I did say I had different YouTube accounts growing up. Unfortunately, I deleted some because I was embarrassed about it. And I know everyone is like, when you look up, how do you start a YouTube account? How do you start a business online or an Instagram account? And they're always like, you just have to start. And that it really is true. But if you're worried about starting with yourself or your business, do you have any pets? Because I started with my cats and it helped my video editing so much. And it's such an easier way to introduce yourself to that world, or even just not showing your face and showing your creations. Like if you scroll all the way back to my first videos, they weren't great and the lighting was pretty bad, but they've gotten a lot better. And so I just want to put that out there, because I know that stops a lot of people, because posting online is kind of intimidating.
Yeah, for sure. That is a very good advice. And I'll definitely second that as well. And I think sometimes I do also find that I don't know, I can sort of question myself a lot. And sometimes I go through that process, you know, when you go back and forth in your head. And sometimes I'm like, no, it's okay. I'm just going to post it. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to post and just let it be out there. It's just like me just continuing to keep that momentum flowing. So that's how I've decided to take this year. It's all about, you know, momentum, just keeping it going. And because in the past I would like post once a week, once a month, you know, whenever but this year I'm like, you know what? Since I've decided to commit to running every single Monday to Friday, I'm going to commit to posting every single day just to keep the momentum going.
And then it gets easier too, the more you do it.
That's right. That's right. Now, quickly, do you find that you get amazing feedback? I'm sure when people buy your products, on your website and stuff. Can you tell me some of the amazing feedback that you've had?
I think people feel such a connection to the things they buy from me because they see the whole process. And I'm always surprised too when people reach out to me or they email me. They're surprised when I message them back. And I have gotten so many kind emails from people who just tell me how I've inspired them to start a business or how I've helped them learn how to make this certain thing. Or they email me and they're like, the earrings arrived or the sun catcher arrived and it's even better in person. And I just love all the little details and how you can still tell it's handmade because they're not exactly the same. And I have so many reviews on my website now too, it's nice to look through them sometimes. People are so nice. I don't know how this happened, but it's great.
Oh, well, you deserve all the wonderful, praise and feedback. So well done. Keep it up. And, you are inspiring so many people more than you will ever, know about, which is the wonderful thing. And your customers and your followers just really loving what you're doing. So keep it up. And it's been such an inspirational conversation, talking to you today. So thank you very much. Now, before I let you go, I have something that I call SBO, which is Small Business Owners Inspiration. So each guest sort of leaves a word of inspiration for the next person. And of course, they have no idea who he's going to be. And sometimes I don't even know who my next guest is going to be. So this particular one was left for you. So I'll just find it and then I'll play it for you. And then I'll ask you to tell me if it's, if it rings true for you.
Know when to step away. Stepping away sometimes is not failure. It is learning to go on a new path.
So I don't know if that, resonate with you.
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, that's kind of what I've been figuring out and I have stepped away from some big things recently because I realized I don't have much of a life anymore and I miss that. So yeah, it really does. And honestly, it was probably the message I was going to leave.
Oh,
because it's such a good bit of advice. And yeah.
Now, what would you like to leave for the next guest? Now, it can be similar, it can be different. It's up to you. And the most amazing thing I've discovered is from guest to guest, all the inspos have sort of intertwined beautifully and they've been perfect for each person. So you might think, it may not ring true, but you just don't know.
I would say
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, I am really excited because I know the next person and I'm going to be talking to them in the next few days. So
do you think it'll work for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. All right. Brianca, thank you so much. Now, before I let you go again, can you tell me where people can find you on social media platforms?
So on Instagram, that's where I mainly am. And then also TikTok and Facebook. On every single one, it's Bellis Botanicals, BELLIS Botanicals. I do have a YouTube account, but I don't have any long form videos on there yet. But if more people follow me on there, maybe I'll feel like I have to, and then I'll actually get to that. But that's where you can find me. And my website is bellisbotanicals.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And of course, this will also go on Spotify. So I'll put all your links and stuff in the description in the Spotify section and also on YouTube. And I'll put all your links so people can come over and follow you and make you put up lots of YouTube videos. Okay.
Okay. I will get to it.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for like a year and a half.
It will happen.
It's going to happen. Mm-hmm.
It will happen. Well, thank you once again, Brianca. I really appreciate your time, and I will definitely be seeing you on social media. All right, you take care.
Thank you, Ruth. Bye.
Bye for now. Bye.